This story is about Patrick and Steve, who were very good friends since childhood. Both were born in a small town in Los Angeles and grew up in the same city situated on the seashore. But today was a different day. Today was Steve's 18th birthday. Steve had thought of a very special idea for Patrick's birthday. Before midnight, he took Steve to a beach and took out a bottle of alcohol from the bag and said that this is a part of a new experience. Steve also wanted to have a new experience in his life. Both of them sat on the seashore and kept drinking alcohol for a long time. After some time, Steve felt a strong urge to defecate. So he got up and went to the tree to defecate. While defecating, suddenly a stone fell on Steve's head. Steve looked towards the tree, but he did not see anyone there. Meanwhile, Patrick also came near that tree. He had an empty bottle in his hand and jokingly he threw it at Steve. That bottle went straight to the peepal tree and broke into pieces. And as soon as that bottle hit the tree, a strange sound came. It sounded like some animal growling in anger. Both of them became quiet for a minute. Suddenly, Steve picked up a piece of glass lying on the ground and wrote the first letters of both their girlfriends on the trunk of that tree with the piece of glass. As soon as he wrote his name, the branches of the peepal tree started shaking violently. And in a few seconds, a big branch fell straight on Steve's head, and he fainted right there. Seeing this, Patrick's intoxication vanished in a second. He quickly went to Steve and tried to bring him back to consciousness. Just then, Patrick heard a voice from behind him. As soon as Patrick looked back, the ground slipped under his feet. There was a black shadow right behind him, whose two blue eyes were shining in the dark. Patrick thought that whoever was behind him was some supernatural creature. As soon as he ran away from that creature attacked him. Its big nails pierced Patrick's back. But somehow, Patrick got free from the creature's grip and ran away from there. Going far away, Patrick saw that the creature had turned into a black shadow, and it entered the mouth of the unconscious Steve. And then suddenly Steve woke up from his unconsciousness. Patrick was calling his name repeatedly from a distance, but Steve was standing in the same place. His eyes had turned completely blue, and he was just standing there like a statue. Then suddenly Steve bent down and picked up a piece of glass lying there, tore his shirt, and started writing AJ on his chest with the same piece of glass, just like he had written on that peepal tree. Patrick's soul trembled after seeing all this. It was 5 in the morning and the sun was now visible rising over the sea. As soon as the sunlight fell on Steve, Steve suddenly regained consciousness. It seemed as if he did not remember anything that had happened to him, and he was very scared after seeing the wound on his chest. After that, both of them went to their house quietly. That day, as the evening approached, Steve's condition started getting worse. He was unable to sleep at all, and the image of that creature was not getting out of his mind. Just then, Steve heard someone growling in his room. Steve got so scared that he closed his eyes and put the sheet on his face. After a few moments, that sound stopped and there was silence in the room. When Steve's fear subsided a bit, he removed the sheet from his face. But as soon as he removed the sheet, the same creature was sitting on the roof of his room. But this time its terrifying face was clearly visible. That creature looked like a terrible monster. Its skin was exactly like the trunk of a tree, and its face was exactly like that of a small child. Before Steve could do anything, that terrible monster attacked Steve. On the other hand, Patrick was very scared. When his father asked him the reason for his fear, he told his father the whole story. Patrick's father was a well-known expert in the city. He understood that his son Patrick and Steve are under the influence of Graham. He told that Graham is such a demon that if he starts chasing them, then he will be able to kill them. So he never leaves them alone. Graham is like an angry child and lives on a peepal tree. And if anyone messes with that tree, then he starts chasing him. They decided to take both of them to that tree at that time. At night, Patrick and his father reached Steve's house. But what they saw there was unbelievable. Steve had died in his bed. Patrick's father got worried after seeing this. He took him to that peepal tree, and there he did a small puja and apologized to Graham. He kept on praying for several hours and kept on apologizing to Graham. As soon as it was morning, they both returned to their home. From that day, Patrick never saw Graham again. but he had lost his closest friends. Even today, Patrick does not touch alcohol.